Nothing beats growing your own mushrooms. They're super fast, definitely bags of fun, and of course, tasty. If you've been disappointed growing mushrooms in the past, today I am offering you an easy growing and cheap way to do it. It's simple to try, involves no specialist equipment, and will have you picking your own tasty mushrooms in just 6 to 8 weeks. You are going to love this method, I promise. And here we have all that we need to grow our mushrooms. Now the first thing we need is a box, of course. You could use a cardboard box like this, but I'd maybe try and go double thickness. That one neatly slots in perfectly just to give it that rigidity as it gets wetter. If you don't have 2 boxes, then you could use something like this old mushroom crate here, which I'm going to use today, but I'm going to line it with more cardboard just to stop our mix falling out and to keep the kind of mixture that it's growing in nice and moist, which mushrooms love. To grow our mushrooms, we'll need something nutritious for them to get their fungal teeth into, and for that I've got this really rather beautiful, well-rotted cow manure. Now, don't use fresh manure because it will just be too strong and full of urea and stuff like that, and that will just burn the mushrooms and won't have them growing well at all. You could also use an all-purpose potting mix, a quality one, and I've been trialling a 50-50 mix of manure with potting mix versus pure manure, and they've both been doing really well. I've also got my mushroom spawn, which is like the seeds of the mushroom if you like, and these are widely available online. I've got some newspaper to lay over the top to help lock in that moisture once we get going, and a spray bottle for misting. Today we're going to be starting off the same button mushrooms that you will find in the supermarket. These guys are in fact just the smaller versions of the standard white mushrooms, which are in turn smaller versions of the large cap or portobello mushrooms. They're all exactly the same type of mushroom, and I'll pop the Latin name as well up there so that you can know what you're trying to order when you look for it online. And then very closely related are these guys. These are, chestnut or cremini mushrooms. All of these mushrooms love well composted manure, which will be full of nutrients, especially nitrogen. And they'll do really well, as I said, in all-purpose potting mix, which should have a good level of nutrients as well. All I'm going to do to prepare my manure is just add a little bit of moisture to it, just so it's kind of damp, not sodden, but got a bit of something in there, and just get your hand in there and mix it all up. Don't worry about it being manure, it's all good stuff and our mushrooms will love it. There we go, that should do it. Now, one way to test if it's moist enough is to get a handful like that and give it a good squeeze. You should get the odd drip like that. There's a few drips coming out, but it won't be torrents of stuff coming out. So that is about the right moisture level that we are after. If your manure is already moist, then you can skip this step. Stop laughing at the back of the class there, button it, I know what you're thinking. And this is also a good point to add in any potting mix that you want as well. So let's get on and line my mushroom crate here. Now, if you're using old crates, then do give them a really good wash in sort of soapy dish water, and then rinse them and then let them dry off before using, just in case there are any kind of weed mushroom spores in there. So we're going from a nice clean start. These are new and I've given them a bit of a wash, and that will just keep the mix from falling out. So now to fill my tray with my lovely moistened manure. Now, I really love manure. It's actually quite incredible to think that the waste product of one being can become the food source of another. And fungi are actually nature's great recyclers. But did you know they actually have more in common with us than plants? That's because they share more DNA with us. That's incredible, isn't it? The mushrooms we're growing today don't need any light whatsoever, which means they can be grown in any kind of out-of-the-way space, like in a shed, for example. They're also really efficient growers. Did you know that you could grow 1 million pounds of mushrooms on just 1 acre of land, or the equivalent of that, whereas you could grow just 28,000 pounds of potatoes? That's quite a difference. Great, so I've filled the tray here to about 2/3 of the depth. And I should say that we're aiming for a minimum depth of tray of about 6 inches or 15 centimetres, and you can go a bit deeper than that, that's fine. Right, it's all nice and level and nice and evenly filled. Now for our mushroom spawn. Now come closer here and let me show you what we're working with, this mushroom spawn, which, as I said, is like the seeds of the mushroom. I'll bring some out and show you. can see if we look closely, what we've actually got is the mycelium, which is the roots of the mushroom, growing all over an actual cereal grain. What the cereal grain is doing is acting as a sort of transfer mechanism so that the mushrooms have something to live on till we get it into our nice rich growing medium here. Smells mushroomy too, it's great. Well, adding our spawn, we want to break it up as much as possible. Just roll it in between your hands like that so they all come loose into separate grains. That'll just help it kind of spread out a bit more efficiently. As far as how much grain spawn to add, well, you're looking for a percentage between about 2 and 10%. I would personally go for the higher end of that because it'll colonize the manure a lot quicker and greatly increase your chances of success. And with your spawn added, it's just a question of mixing it into the top few inches or so of your manure or potting mix just to get a lovely even distribution in there. And then the final thing is just to tuck our little mushrooms in with dampened newspaper. Just thoroughly wet it so it's sodden like this and lay it over the top. And just tuck it in at the sides as well. What this will do is just slow down evaporation, keep the mushrooms in here nice and sort of snug and consistently moist. And then to finish, just a label with the dates and the type of mushroom so I can keep a track of everything. And that's it. The mushroom tray now needs to go somewhere dark and airy for the mycelium, the roots of the mushrooms, to fully colonize that manure. The ideal temperature is a slightly warm room temperature, but no warmer than about 75 Fahrenheit or 24 degrees Celsius, or it might harm the mycelium, and no cooler than 60 degrees Fahrenheit or 15 Celsius, otherwise growth might stall. For me, at this time of year, that means bringing them indoors where it's a bit warmer, and something like this cozy cubby hole is ideal. And I'm just going to pop over a bit of cardboard to keep most of the light off so they are in the dark in there. I've got some I started off a bit earlier, and what we want to be doing now is checking our trays every couple of days and just give them a light misting if they're in any way dry. Now, the emphasis here is on nicely moist, not sopping wet, so don't overdo it. Just give them a light spray. And as I say, check every couple of days. After about 10 to 14 days, you'll notice fine white thread spreading. This is the mycelium colonizing our box, and it means we're definitely onto a great thing. Then within maybe another week or so, you'll have a more solid spread of mycelium, turning the manure or potting mix almost pure white. This is an exciting moment because it means we're on to the next and final stage towards those lovely moorish mushrooms. To get all that lovely mycelium to produce what we're after, we need to add what's called a casing layer, a final layer of material that'll signal to the mycelium to start producing those fruiting bodies, the mushrooms here. Now let me show you what that involves. We need something that's fairly good at holding on to moisture, but also light and fluffy for good air exchange. The solution is a 50-50 mix of coconut or coir fibre and this stuff here, vermiculite. Coconut fibre like this is great at retaining moisture, which our mushrooms will need to produce those fruiting bodies, while the vermiculite will keep things kind of nice and open to allow for that good air exchange. Oxygen in, carbon dioxide out. Now start mixing this up so you get a nice even distribution, and if it is a bit dry like it is, then just go in there like before and just wet everything up to that same kind of nice moisture level. Here we go. This is now lovely and cool and damp. Now you want to lay this casing layer over your mycelium to a depth of about 3 centimeters or a little over an inch. That'll keep things nice and cool and moist down there. Then return your trays or boxes to somewhere dark and well ventilated again. But this time we can go on the cooler side of room temperature. So by that I mean between about 60 to 68 Fahrenheit or around 15 to 20 Celsius. At this point we need to watch our boxes very carefully. I check them at least once a day and mist frequently to maintain a high humidity and a nice moist casing layer. Once the mushrooms have reached the size you want, well, it's time to harvest them. I like to harvest them once they are fully formed but still closed off underneath. This size here is perfect. Just get in there, then gently twist and pull the mushroom from the base like that. It might sound like an odd thing to say, but I honestly never smell anything as mushroomy. This is super fresh. It really will make a difference growing them yourself. Now, don't be tempted to cut off the mushrooms because that will leave a bit of a stump, which then runs the risk of rotting and affecting the mushrooms still to come. So always twist and pull up. Once you've harvested, just cover the hole that's left with a little bit of the surrounding casing material just to make sure it stays moist down there. Chestnut or button mushrooms are just one of many, many different types of mushrooms that are edible and that you can grow. And you can get an idea of the kind of range from our mushroom farm tour that we did last year. I'll link to it down below. Now, you should get several rounds or flushes of mushrooms from the tray. They're not all going to come all at once and cover the tray densely. Rather, they'll pop up here and there, and you just need to keep on removing them once they reach the desired size to keep them coming. Remember to keep on misting your mushrooms to keep them coming. Then once they do finally run out of steam, just empty out the old growing medium onto your compost heap or garden beds, where they will make a fantastic natural fertilizer, successfully closing the loop of growth. Just magnificent. And there you have it, delicious homegrown mushrooms straight from your own boxes. Or to grow oyster mushrooms in a simple bucket like this, check out this video next. I'll catch you next time.